Hey, this is Joe Gilder from Home Studio Corner, and in this video, I'm going to review this OWC Thunderbolt 3 dock. OWC stands for Other World Computing. MacSales.com is how you find them. I've been a customer of theirs for years, bought lots of hard drives and RAM over the years, and they reached out to me and said, would you like to review something of ours? And I said, yeah. That Thunderbolt 3 dock that I've been eyeing for a long time. So they sent it to me to review, and we're going to talk about it. So what problem is this thing trying to solve? Well, couple things. First, it's the problem of just not enough ports for everything we want to do. So this is a MacBook Pro. It has 4 Thunderbolt 3 ports. One of those has to be used for power, so it's really only 3. This iMac behind me, which is pretty new, only has 2 Thunderbolt 3 ports, and then it has 4 regular USB ports. When you're in the studio, you probably have more gear to connect to your computer than you have ports. I made a list of all the stuff that I have connected to my computer right now. 2 or 3 hard drives, a MIDI keyboard, a MIDI pad controller, my Studio Live mixer via USB, the Quantum 2626 from Personas, which is Thunderbolt, my actual typing mechanical keyboard, which comes in USB, the fader port / I/O station, which is like a, not remote control, but like an DAW controller, that's USB, and then the cam link, which is what I use to record my videos from my switcher and a DSLR camera. And that adds up to 10 devices that I've got to plug into my computer. I don't have 10 ports. I've got 2 Thunderbolt ports and 4 USB ports. What's a boy to do? This is an option. Okay, let me give you a quick tour. As you can see, it's not super big. It's a little bit longer than my iPhone 11, but it has a lot of connections on the back and also a few on the front. I'll give you the tour of all of them. First thing is the power. As you can imagine, something like this needs a lot of power to run properly. Look at that big honking power supply. So it has one end that runs into the device itself, the DC in on the back. The other end has a separate connection that goes into the wall. So it's a line lump adapter, I suppose, but holy smokes, it is heavier than the device, which is cool because this can go off, this goes off inside my desk, out of sight, out of mind, and then this light thing is the only thing that I see and is visible, which helps with a nice aesthetic. All right, so let's go through the connections. Here's where the power comes in. Here's an external monitor output, a DisplayPort adapter, I believe. And then here are 2 Thunderbolt ports. The first, you'll see a little picture of a laptop. This will actually provide power to your laptop. So you don't have to take up 2 ports to use this thing on your laptop. This will provide the power. You can get rid of your power adapter and just use this, and then you've got an extra Thunderbolt port here. Ethernet here, a lot of times, if you're using like my Studio Live, needs to be connected via Ethernet if I want to do any sort of DAW control, or if you're bringing in internet into your computer and maybe your computer doesn't have an Ethernet port, it's built in right here. We've got a SPDIF audio output. I know like Mac Pro towers have that. I don't use it, but it's there. We've got 3 USB 3.1 Generation 1 ports, one of which is high powered for charging your devices like your iPad. And then let's flip over to the front. So on the front, we've got 2 different SD card connectors, one for micro SD, which I've got one of those from my drone. That'll fit there. That's kind of nice if you lose the adapter. Regular SD card input, which is really nice because I got so tired of reaching around to the back of my iMac and finding that port that's back there. This one's right here on the front. I can just easily pop it in and out. Headphone output that I've not used, but it's handy to have in a pinch. And then a couple of extra USB ports on the front. Another high-powered USB 3.1 Generation 1 port. I'll use that to plug in my iPad when I'm using it, when I need an extra display for videos. It's right on the front. I can just plug it in without having to go around to the back of the desk to plug something in. And then a USB 3.1 Generation 2 port, also known as USB-C. I use this actually to plug in my SSD hard drive because I'm always unplugging it, taking it elsewhere to my laptop, and then coming back to my iMac. Easy to plug and unplug here without having to plug everything else in the back. So what about performance? I don't know all the tech specs. I just know that it worked. Everything I plugged into it showed up in my computer, and it all worked. It never didn't work. And that's pretty cool. I've played that game before where I've had a session and I want to record a keyboard part, but my keyboard's not plugged in because all my USB ports are taken. So I have to stop and think, what do I unplug so I can plug my keyboard in? And sometimes there are sessions where everything that's plugged in needs to stay plugged in for the session. Maybe I'm doing a video or a live stream and I've had to completely change the direction of the session, change the creative flow of the session because I didn't have enough ports to accommodate what I really wanted to do creatively. That's the why behind something like this. Something like this, it doesn't make music, it doesn't make a sound, but it allows you to have all your gear connected and hooked up and ready for you to go. We creative folks are pretty fickle. And if there's anything in the way, if there's any friction to creating, we might just not create, or we might lose that idea, or we might just go watch a movie instead. This allows us to have all of our gear hooked up and ready to go. So with just a couple of clicks, we're off to the races making music, as opposed to having to stop and rewire our studio every time we want to make music. Big thanks to OWC for sending this to me. I like it. There's a link in the description. They've got a lot of other great stuff. Check them out. Thanks for watching. See ya.